Nope. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Akuban Nights.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Guys, how are you, one guy, doing?
I'm fine, and I'm not even a guy.
Yeah, a California guy and dude are pretty gender neutral.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's this. I just thought I'd be shitty with you about it. I'm tired. I'm trying to.
The snark is coming out as just complaining.
It's not even snark. It's just I'm also hangry. So yeah. If I suddenly start devouring Chinese food halfway through the episode, then you know. Well, other than that, I can also just sit there and be rocking all my TwitchCon swag.
Mm-hmm. You can just put the sunglasses on and just like slowly nod and be like, yeah, I attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just, they're going on when I kill the dude. It's just going to be like, you know, I guess he was an old guy. Yeah. It's not I'm not good at. I can't think of any pithy one-liners. Maybe something will come.
You got a couple hours for your pithy one-liner.
I mean, I need a couple of days, I think, but
I believe in you.
I don't. I don't. Oh man. So what happens if Maya dies horribly in this episode? Just you know.
I don't want to think about it because I don't know, and it would probably cause massive complications. So don't die.
I'll try not to, I guess.
That's
great. What's the worst that could possibly happen?
You could die. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen.
That would be pretty worse, to be honest with you. That would be not great. Not great. Yeah. Okay. Hang on.
Right.
There we go. Roll 20. Roll 20. I'm in roll 20.
Top 10 campaign intro. So where last we left off, Maya was going to go kill the governor of Syro. Let's go take a quick looky look at Syro. It's where the party is.
Oh Jesus! I need a notepad.
It's here on the map. I pinged it. It's here. And you've been in Syro for a little while. And you have a general idea of what the place looks like. I know this is also a beautiful map. It's built into the side of a hill. These white lines are elevation marks. So you can see that the town sort of goes up. And there's also like a rise right here. This is like, this section is higher elevation than this section. So you kind of got like this mountainous front, and then everything else like dips down and goes back up. This is a river that goes in. So from like here to here is a pretty steep drop down. Same thing with here to here. We got like a small little mountainy island.
I'm immediately sort of like envisaging like sort of like cliff escapes of just like, fuck it.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that. We got the big bay right here, which is the harbor area. And up here is the governor's mansion, or estate, we should call it, which is where he gives his, what do we say, weekly speeches on a Sunday. And presently, it is a Saturday. Oh, lovely.
Cool.
Yeah, that's you guys are at the Hakuna Matata. Who names this shit?
Isn't that you?
Yeah, it is. But this one makes me happy. That's not like, you know, John's Tavern 5.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is it's a fortuitous name for this.
Mm-hmm. No worries. For the rest of your days. Mm-hmm.
I mean, death also means no worries for the rest of your day, because so it could go either way.
That's true. That's a pretty dark take on Hakuna Matata.
Hello, teenage assassin.
God.
This is just, I mean, you know, this is how Maya rolls. She's just there like, everything is awful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Oh god, right. So I need to fucking do some planning and shit. My god.
Right. So it's while you're stepping out of the Hakuna Matata and beginning to take a stroll around the town. Oh my god, I didn't set everything up properly. My god, what have I done? You run into an unknown figure who, as you're kind of walking up towards the hill, is coming down the hill in your direction and gives you looks at you dead in the eyes, gives you a bit of a smile. Oh my God, I've already forgotten the words. He says the thing, and I sorted out the thing, but I have forgotten the words to the thing he says. How have I done this? My God. We're so not ready for this. We're so ready, but we're so not ready.
I'm completely not prepared. I've got a headache sort of drilling into this eyebrow as well, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yay!
What are your family's words?
I don't bloody know.
Oh God, he's supposed to say your family's words to you, but I can't remember them.
Quick, Necker.
Oh no. What are the House Harazim words? Nekka, what are your words? Up, up, and away? He says up, up, and away.
I sort of barely glance at him.
It's a friendly smile and the house's words, and you barely glance at him. And he kind of stops.
Trying not to react.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, up, up, and away, Your Highness. Those are now your house words, by the way.
Okay, yeah, well,
yeah.
Something murder time. something stabby, something crotch punching. Yes, okay.
Something crotch punchy. Yeah, that's perfect.
With your crotch or on it.
Come back with your crotch. Oh, that's great. I love it.
Right. So I'm just like, can I help you?
He looks around, makes sure that the other people passing by are just sort of not paying attention and passing by, and says, I've always hoped to serve the true king of Akuba. And he looks at you expectantly.
Indeed.
Perchance I could bend your ear for a moment.
Certainly. Why don't we take a walk along? Yes, to walk somewhere secluded, shall we? I see the view is lovely over on the hillside over there.
And he'll walk with you towards the hillside over there. And as you walk, he introduces himself. I am named Rat. It's a pleasure to meet your highness, he says with another bow.
Interesting.
It was an unfortunate name, but one I have grown accustomed to over the years.
I've used many names. Names are just tools.
He smiles. Yes, I've always thought similarly about them. What brings your highness to Syro, of all places?
I cannot say. It's a somewhat delicate matter.
I see. He pauses for a moment and says, Is there, anything your ladyship would need? I know friends are hard to come by, and my family has always been loyal to the Harazim.
Who is your family?
He makes like a broad, sweeping gesture and says, we are many and scattered. A similar hierarchy as your own, a family in every town. But rather than ruling above board, we do so from below.
Hang on. I know thieves can't, don't I? Hang on a second.
You do?
Yes. In that case, I'm going to just say in thieves can't. So, is it the guild I think it is?
It is, your ladyship.
Ah, wonderful. In that case, I'm going to continue in thieves can't. I've been sent to remove a loud complication, and I'm going to sort of point up to the governor's mansion.
I see. I do believe that man is quite complicated. Our family has always been loyal to the Harazim, as I've said, and if you have any needs, we would be happy to fill them. Of course, for a price.
Of course, I would expect nothing less. I mean, everything has a price, everything has a value, everything has worth. I require a way into the castle.
Well, I do believe all the great houses on the hill were built by the same firm, the same construction company. Possible that they kept plans somewhere. He muses over something, and like his eyes go up and to the right for a moment while he's recalling information. I believe it would be a relatively simple matter to find those. But for a price, of course.
Of course, of course. Are they taking on any servants at the moment?
I am not familiar with the intricacies of the house. And by this point, like, you've been walking along the city for a while, and he motions to a small, dilapidated little tavern. It's maybe like, probably it once was a tea shop, but they ran, tea wasn't selling well enough, so they converted to alcohol. And,
quick, gin! Mother's ruin.
He walks in with you to the gin shop, and pulls out a seat for you and sits down next to you and says, I can look into the matter, see if they're hiring new servants. But I am sure they know all the faces of the existing ones.
Yes. It's gonna be a tricky one.
Are the rest of your family here? He says.
I'd rather not say. It's.
Of course.
The less you know, the better. Safer for everybody, don't you think?
Indeed. I had heard you all had died. The barbarians had murdered you. Oh, I see. Lovely.
I apologize. If I wasn't bound by family discretion, I could tell you some stories, my friend. Stories.
Maybe for another day.
If this all goes to plan, then maybe I'll share some of the more interesting details with you.
Sure. He makes a gesture, and a kind of a snarky-looking halfling sitting down the bar comes on over and walks up to your group, and he leans over to the halfling and whispers loud enough that you can hear it, something to the effect of, would you go see if the Cyro Construction Company still keeps the plans for the noble houses on the hill? And the halfling gives a bit of a nod and tries to look at you, like squint and look at your face, and the guy kind of just puts a hand on the halfling's cheek and gently turns his face away and gives him a little pat on the butt to encourage him to walk off. And turns back to you and says, I don't know if any others in my family would recognize you. That little cousin is a curious one.
Oh yes, well, I think it was time I changed my appearance again anyway. You know how it is. You can never keep the same identity for too long. It's not safe.
If only we could change our faces.
I mean, if you know the right mage.
I unfortunately do not. How is your dear brother?
Made of glass, apparently, but other than that, he's fine, yes.
Good.
So, yes, anyway.
What sort of help, aside from plans, could I offer you?
I mean, oh god, well, let's think, yeah. Equipment, distractions, that kind of thing. I mean, if you've got anybody who's interested in maybe knocking over the castle, I could go in with them. That kind of thing.
Okay. He nods. It'll take a while for the plans to arrive. Probably on the order of half the day or so.
That's fine, that's fine.
So I think that you and this gentleman named Rat. Make my notes here. Can chat for a little while. You'll learn that he is a father, which means that he's like a ranking official in this town. And the people working under him will be brothers and sisters, and people less trusted but still associated will be cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, that's generally.
How would I rank in the?
You wouldn't be ranked. At best, you would be a cousin.
Yeah.
But more likely, you would just be somebody else.
Yeah. Rich and useful.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know people, but I'm not part of it, sort of thing.
Yeah. So he. Well, until the plans get here, is there anything you'd like to say or do with this gentleman?
I'll probably just try and sort of like, not quite butter him up, but I'll try and sort of like, just chat to him, just, reassure him that I am competent, etc., and just try and get a feel for what he wants out of this.
Sure. Give me a charisma check, please.
Okay, charisma. Just straight charisma?
Just straight charisma. Ooh, very nice. And I will oppose it by a roll from him to see if he has any intentions he's hiding. Ooh, which he doesn't do a very good job of. So it seems that good old Rat here has two motivations. As you're talking about this, the governor here, he is nodding along with you and being like, yes, he is a problem. The families here have gone to a single ruler point, like many of the other countries, and it doesn't work so well. Too much power in the hands of just one person has led to quick abuses, shutting down of important waterways and back alleys. It's been hard for our family to make a living since he's come in charge. We've been thinking about a solution for a while, but I think this is the best solution possible.
Oh yes, there's always a profit in chaos, is there not?
What is the saying? Chaos is simply an opportunity? Something to that effect?
I think so, yes.
And his other motivation appears to be he wants to be able to call on a favor from someone in your position later down the road.
Seems reasonable. Seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. One day, and that day may never come, I may have need of a favor from you. It will probably not be one that can be said in the open, but if we help you get where you need to be, I assume an equal exchange would be appropriate.
Absolutely. I would expect nothing less. If you were doing this out of the goodness of your heart, I would be extremely suspicious.
I do have a fondness for similarly open-minded people, but goodness of my heart died a long time ago.
Yes, I quite understand.
Right. And it's right around here. Oh, did you have something else?
I was just some people can just drive it right out of you.
He nods in understanding. When the guy comes back, there's some documents, some maps, and the two of you move to a smaller corner, and he pulls the stuff out, pours over it with you, and let's discuss. The town, where is it? Here we go. As we've said before, is built onto a hillside and has a singular sewer system that runs throughout it. These black lines that I've put on this are the sewer system maps. So everything runs out to the sea in the middle of the harbor, and there's all these like major arteries that jump off of it all over the place.
And there's one that goes straight to the governor's office.
There's one that goes straight up here, and there's smaller branches that come off to all of the other places. But there is one that runs to the governor's station. Rat here is, unsurprisingly, very familiar with the sewer systems. And he can tell you that there is a sewer that will lead right up to a drain in the kitchen. You can enter the sewers from any point in town, head for the main drain in the middle, and just go uphill until you reach a grate that is sort of like blocking off the noble section most of the way up the hill. And once you get to the other side of that grate, there's a couple more routes, and you can find the path.
Yeah, just go straight on, basically.
Right.
How difficult is the grate to get past?
It has a lock on it, so you would just need to pick the lock. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it needs to be openable in case there's some sort of like backage, or someone throws some rocks or sticks down the drain and it slowly builds up, or
somebody throws nappies down the drain. But they're cloth. Yes, I know. I'm rich. I can afford new nappies. They're made of silk. Yeah. They're great. Sorry.
Yeah. The other solution is that there is a well in not in the kitchen, but like in the pantry. There is a fairly deep well. And there is supposedly an entrance to this well in a nearby tavern or something. The markings have on the well, on the construction plan, there's like a little S written onto it, which Rat will tap and say, this means there's some sort of secret entrance or exit through here. And if it goes down, then it must come out somewhere lower on the hill, and the nearby buildings, he points to the ones directly below the mansion or palace or estate or whatever, is a tavern. So it might be in this building or anything in the 5 building radius.
They'll be expecting the sewers. It's a fairly obvious entrance.
Sure. He offers to walk past the palace with you to get a better, hands-on view of what the setup is.
Certainly. I will, before we do anything else, I'm going to change my appearance, though.
Okay.
To something a little sort of like, I'm just going to sort of change it, just going to sort of like make myself look inconspicuous.
Okay.
Just sort of like, not too poor, not too rich, just sort of very middle of the road, just sort of like innocuous, boring, and sort of just not very noticeable.
Sure. I'm going to need a disguise check from you. You are going to be inconspicuous, so you're not trying to be a specific person.
It's 25.
Yeah, just a regular everyday. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect.
Yeah, so I'll just sort of my name is now Beth. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful. Welcome, Beth. Let's take a stroll.
Certainly. I will sort of go arm in arm with him to be like, ooh.
Oh, how nice. Over here, let's start at the bottom. This is the roadway that runs beneath the palace. The palace is built like at one of the, it's kind of like a plateau style, or like a terraced style city. So you'll have like a section and then staircases down and then a section. This down here is the lower section. This wall is maybe 30 feet high from below, but only like 10 feet high from above. If you were to take a look at the top side over here. And there's this big staircase that runs all the way from the top to the bottom section. It's got to be more than a 20-foot climb. It's probably like a 40-foot climb now that I'm thinking about it. Big staircase that runs all the way up and down next to it. And then there's this fantastic garden near the side that has like a door that goes through the wall. There's this wall that runs all the way around the compound. And then there's just, the road up here, a temple nearby, situated next to it. There's a little garden off to the right. And the estate is here with a front door like this. The balcony is this corner on the 3rd floor. It is a 3-story building.
Right. Interesting.
There are 2 guards that walk the walls, and they're sort of like on opposite sides, rotating around. So you can, they just patrol the outside of the wall. And there are 2 guards at the main gate, on the inside of the main gate. Looking through the main gate, you can see that there is a door right about here. And from the plans, you can see that there is another door, a side door, right here.
Okie doke. So door there, balcony at the back. Right.
Yeah. And I guess since you have access to the plans, we could even take a look at the floor plan of the place if you want.
You just really want to show off your map, don't you?
I just want to show off my map. Right, so from the front enters like this big fancy foyer. The staircases up to the 2nd floor are in this other foyer-looking area, as well as the like servant staircase that leads from the kitchen. The grate, the sewer grate in the kitchen is underneath this table, you would expect, because it needs to be in the middle of the kitchen so everything flows into it. The well in the pantry is off here in this corner. The servant's staircase goes up to a servant's area and then continues to the 3rd floor, while the stairs that come up bring you off to the 3rd floor, as well as the guest quarters and the library and the sitting room. And then the 3rd floor has the major bedrooms. This is the master bedroom and attached parlor. And these would be the bedrooms of any other family members that live here. There's a hall with paintings and statues and all sorts of artwork displayed on it. And here's this little balcony.
To hide behind. Cool.
And then here's where the servant staircase comes up so that the servants can attend the Lord in his parlor or his bedroom without having to, be seen taking the main staircase up. Because God forbid a servant be taking the stairways that the lords use.
Which was his bedroom again?
It's the one with the big red bed.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yep, and that is the whole of the apartment.
Right. Cool. Okay, so, it looks like up through the well and then up the servants' stairs seems like the best idea. Definitely the quietest idea, because trying to get that grating open, I'm not very strong, and that sounds loud and rusty. Also deeply unpleasant.
Okay. So you've patrolled the grounds then, and Rat tells you he doesn't know where the secret entrance is. You're sort of on your own to find whatever it is that leads to the well, but in theory, it should go down to about ground level here, or if not deeper. So if the well is in this corner of the house, then there's gotta be some entrance somewhere nearby. I don't know. That's all we got.
But possibly in the tavern, did he reckon?
He reckoned it would be in the tavern just across the street.
Right.
Down the way and across the street, but he doesn't know for certain.
Okay. So in that case, probably what I will do is, I'll just sort of in that case, would you care to join me for a drink then? I might as well scope out the tavern and...
I would love a drink, he says, and heads over to the tavern nearby, which is called the Maiden's Hair.
Interesting.
Yep. And all of the all of the chairs and couches are covered in this shag hair style setup. Just big it looks like, what I guess, shag hair, I guess, the shag carpeting everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called, shag carpeting.
I find this place incredibly unsettling. Oh my god.
It's soft and fuzzy, but also sort of weird and drapey. And the bartender and the waiters and waitresses all have this like fringe outfits, sort of like gaudy cowboys.
What exactly is this hair made of?
Some of it looks to be animal fur hair. Some of it's kind of long, and there's not that many long-haired creatures. Maybe it's like horse mane or human hair or some other creature that does get long hair. Some of it is just like cotton fabric threaded together. It looks like a mishmash of various styles.
Right, so I guess I'll go in. I'll be like, it's terribly hot today. Could I possibly get a glass of water before I start on the wine,
Ah, of course. I've been frowning up until you mentioned something about wine. And,
yeah, it's terribly hot. I just need some water. Is it fresh?
It is, ma'am. We have servants bring it up from the river.
Oh, I was told you had a well here. They particularly said the water was lovely and fresh.
It is lovely and fresh. Our servants might as well be wells themselves. We have a special appointed slave who goes and brings buckets of water back. That's pretty much all he does, actually, is bring water to us from the river. As good as a well.
Oh, I was misled. They said they had a well here.
Will that be a problem?
Oh, no, I just... my doctor told me to avoid river water, unless it's boiled.
I see. I will make sure that we boil the water first.
I'll just have the glass of wine for now, though, thank you.
Sure. I'll sort it out, get you a glass of wine. Rat will sit with you and stroke the shag carpet on the chair behind you.
It's very tactile. I was like, okay, so no well in this one then. Interesting. Thoughts?
Are you asking me for my thoughts?
Well, yes.
I'm the DM. I already know.
I'm asking Rat for his thoughts.
Oh yeah. Rat, got it. Well, he might be lying, or he may not know if it's a good secret entrance, and he's just a waiter. He may honestly not know about it.
Oh god, getting down into the cellar is going to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? Could I possibly prevail on you to create a distraction for 5 minutes while I pop downstairs and see if I can find anything?
Certainly. Let's just wait for the wine, he says.
Oh, yes, of course. Priorities, please.
He waits for the wine, and it gets brought, and the waiter leaves, and you each take a sip, and he gets up and throws the wine glass on the floor and stomps right up to the bar and says, "What sort of swill do you think you're serving me? Do you know who I am? I am one of the better merchants in this town. I am a purveyor of great wines, and this is not the level of wine that I would have sold to your house." And he starts like finger berating, finger wagging at the bartender, and the servant, the waiter comes over and goes, "I'm so sorry," and sniffs at the ground and goes, "Oh, that's terrible. There must have been a mix-up. I don't know what I did," and quickly runs off, and the guy Rat just keeps like, rah, 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 rah. And everyone's looking at this commotion. Some people are really awkwarded out by it, and a couple of people just leave because who wants to sip fine wine in a fancy establishment with this,
He might kick off. He's mental. In that case, I'm going to give him a little sort of nice, and I will just sort of quietly slip down to the cellars.
Okay. You can step to the side of the bar. There's like a small little saloon-style doors that lead back to the kitchen, but there's also like the cellar right there. You can pop on down, and why don't you give me a perception check to quickly and quietly search the cellar.
Okay, come on, perception. Come on, perception.
Nada. So you pop down, you look around. There's no immediate, like, passageways that lead off of this. There's no well here down in the cellar. If there is an entrance, it is obscured from sight.
In that case, I'm going to spend a bit of time and do a more thorough search and just be like, sort of like moving wine, trying to sort of like look under wine barrels and tapping on the walls, etc., looking for false floors.
All right, let's see if anyone notices that you're down here. Ooh, no. All right, you've got at least 5 minutes until a servant's going to come down. Okay. So, give me another perception check. Yeah, let's see what you can find.
Oh, there we go. That's more like it.
That is. The first thing you come across is a sewer grate. In the middle of the room, the whole room sort of slopes to it, and there's what do you call it? Like a channel or ravine that cuts against the back of the wall and leads up to what must be a sewer grate in the kitchen above, because there's like a steady trickle of soup and spilled beer and grease kind of like flowing down the wall and into this thing that then goes into the sewer grate and heads down.
Grim.
Yeah. You do find a section of wall, or let's call it a shelf, that has a hollow sound behind it, kind of like a punk, 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 when you tap on it, instead of a tink, 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 which is the stone wall to the side. Yeah.
Right. In which case, I'm going to start sort of like searching it for hidden levers and, just sort of...
Yeah. Well, with a 35, you'll pretty quickly come to the conclusion that there's no hidden lever. You're just going to have to haul the shelf.
God.
Nothing elegant.
Is there any kind of oil down here?
Yeah.
Okay, sort of like lamp oil or something?
Cooking oil.
Cooking oil. In that case, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to sort of like just pour a bit under the shelf just to help it move quietly and slightly more easily.
Okay.
So I will sort of pour a little bit under and I'll just sort of like, wait for it to work. And then I'm just going to haul it to one side as quietly as I can.
That's why we have the show clever emote. Fantastic. Yeah, you pour it down. The shelf slides without making too much noise, and behind it is a smaller cellar stacked with all sorts of barrels. They look to be wine barrels, booze barrels, just like fancy alcohol that they want to stash in a place that people won't find. You search this room, there are no other false back doors, at least not with the 35. Yeah.
God damn it. Right. Is there anything worth taking in there?
Sure. Absolutely, but it's, large barrels. There's no way Maya's going to sneak it out.
I'm just going to have one more sort of cast around the entire area then, because I'm just like, there's got to be something. There's got to be. And then I'm going to head back up after just one more kind of, God damn it.
Yeah, you take a look about, and it looks like it's just a tavern.
Right. In that case, I'm going to move the shelf back closed so nobody knows that I've found it.
You close it.
And then I'm going to slip back up.
Yep. As you get back up, you can see the owner is now standing before Rat with his arms crossed, like clearly fed up with Rat's bullshit. And as he sees you come out through the saloon doors, he goes, "You know what? I'm just going to take my business elsewhere. Good day, sirs. Good day." And makes for the front door.
I'm going to quietly follow him, but behind him, sort of as unobtrusively as possible.
Sure. You step on out, and once you guys get maybe a few hundred feet away, he whispers to you, "How was it?"
Well, there is no secret entrance that I could find, and I had a pretty thorough look. However, if you ever want to knock the place over, I know exactly where they keep the really good goods. There's a hidden shelf. There's a shelf, you can move it, they keep all the goods behind there. It's on the right-hand side of the wall.
Right hand, okay. He nods. Yeah, good to know.
Yes.
But no secret entrance, then?
Not that I could find, no, so...
So it must be one of these other buildings, and he looks up and down the street. You know, this one's a house, that one's a house, then there's the tavern, then there's a house, then there's maybe like a tailor's shop, and then the next thing after that is another house, and then there's another house, then there's a, you know, like a, what do you call it, a general goods store. I was looking at all of these, and I don't know anything about any of these buildings.
Would the secret entrance come? I mean, is it fed by river water, the well, or? It must be, right? If
it's fed by river water, he says, then it must be a very deep well. What is this, 50, 100, 150? It must be 200 feet or so? It's not impossible.
Do you think it's worth going down to the riverbank and having a look along there?
He nods.
Yes.
And walks with you over to the riverbank. So you guys can catch some bullywugs.
Some what?
I don't know. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm saying some weird things. You probably shouldn't listen to me.
Oh God, and you're in charge of this mayhem.
No one should have left me in charge of anything.
It's fine. No one does leave you in charge.
I am fit to be a house husband and like clean and cook and, you know, watch after the dogs and sit in the sun all day. I'm not fit for real responsibility.
And yet you are. Right, so yeah, so I'll just sort of take a stroll along the riverbank. I'm gonna sort of I'm gonna look for like any kind of like irregularities in the flow of water along the riverbank.
Yeah, so you can peer off the edge. Why don't you give me a perception check? I'll have Rat make a perception check. Oh god, Rat rolls a 16.
I got 32.
Oh well. Yeah.
Just call me Eagle Eyes.
There are a lot of rocks in the river that sort of jut up here and there that break up the flow. And as you're looking for irregularities, there's one fairly large rock that looks like it's jutting out from the cliffside. But you notice that like you're watching some leaf come down the river, and it comes like gets caught in this eddy and then sort of disappears. And if you lean over, it didn't like brush up against the wall. It's just sort of like floated probably underneath the cliff. So there's at least a few underhangs. Possibly something else.
Interesting. Alright, I'm gonna... Sorry, I'm gonna hammer now. Dogs. Why?
Because they're so cute.
True.
So cute.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just sort of like take a quick look around, and then I'm gonna sort of throw myself down on the riverbank and just sort of like check underneath and see what I can see.
You're pretty high up where you see this thing. It's like a 50-foot drop to the water below.
Oh, right. Oh, in that case, is there anybody around?
No, not in this section of river. It's high walls, and the water flow is rough. It's, not very good for bringing boats up at this part. So there's no one along here.
I'm gonna grab my silk rope. Because I have... How many feet do I have? What's your standard silk rope? Is it 50 feet
50.
of silk rope?
Yeah.
Right. So should get me just about down to the bottom?
Sure. Rat will wrap the rope around his arm a few times and stand nonchalantly at the edge, holding the rope from his arm while you...
Yeah, I'll just rappel down and have a good look around and see what I can see.
Excellent. Let's see. Why don't we give you... Give me a climb check at +10 because you have a rope and a wall. And I doubt you can even fail this.
Okay, plus 10, so that's 26?
Yes. Lovely. All right.
Lovely.
You easily scamper down the side of the wall. And sure enough, at the very bottom, there's this inlet. It's sort of like a roughly carved, not well chiseled, but definitely man-made, sort of like archway that sits, what is this distance? Like 7 inches above the water line and extends down. And you can see that there's some sort of channel or passage that goes underneath the rock that the water extends with.
Interesting. So...
Yeah.
So what I'm probably going to do is be like, wait there, be right back. And I'm just going to sort of... actually, what I'm probably going to do is climb back up, take my dress off, and then go back down. And I was just like, I'm not sewing in a dress. I'm an idiot.
You leave your gear with him, right? Your backpack and all that stuff. Excellent.
Yes. And then I'll sort of rappel back down and just hop into the water and see if I can... In fact, before I hop into the water, I'm just going to make sure there's no large fish or, random octopi or anything. I've been burned before. And Neal's just there going, oh yeah!
You see no large fish or octopi or nefarious creatures or monsters or things that could hurt you.
Cool. That's good. In that case, I'm going to sort of like slip gently into the water and just sort of like try and make my way slightly into the tunnel. Just to sort of like scope out the tunnel a bit before I...
This entryway is particularly narrow. It's maybe 7 or 8 inches above the water and then maybe like a foot below the water. So it's going to be the sort of thing that you're going to have to like swim through or like crawl through or something. It doesn't look very accessible.
Does it look like once I'm in, it's going to be difficult to get back out again?
Probably not, right? If you can go one way, you can go the other way.
True.
It's not
okay, so
super wide. You'll have to
squeeze,
shimmy back. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna sort of squeeze myself in and see sort of like if it widens a bit further up.
Yeah, you squeeze in, and after a period of 15 feet and a temporary, more narrowing section, it does open out. The bottom drops out, the ceiling rises up to the point that you could wade through it, and the water will come to about your hips. And in here, it becomes more apparent that it is man-made. You could even feel like the weirdly carved chunks of rock under your feet that didn't ever properly get pulled out.
Seems to be it. Yeah. All right.
But at this point, you've got as much light as you can get from the outside by the river.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty dark, and it feels like it just keeps running forward.
All right, in that case, I'm going to head back out, climb back up, put my dress back on, and just be like, yep, I think that's it. Very nice. Right. Very nice. Right then, do you have anybody who wants to come in and see what they can find? Seeing as how we've just found a hidden tunnel, and it's going to be probably more heavily guarded after I've...
Yes. We can. I would be happy to attend you on this endeavor. If Rat can't sneak into a house, he does not deserve the name Rat.
I give him a little sort of like tap on the... Indeed. Right then, I guess there won't be much call for disguise in the house. More stealth, so I guess we should wait for... I think we should go in sort of well after midnight, don't you?
Nighttime.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Nighttime, after midnight, when all the servants are in bed and before they get up first thing in the morning, so...
Lovely. Sure. Let us retire and dress appropriately for the endeavor.
Indeed.
I've always found that every occasion has a specific form of dress needed for it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right. Rat will take you back down to the harbor area, and he'll lead you to a tavern a few blocks away from the Hakuna Matata that looks a little bit more to his liking, a little bit more skeezy and darker, a little more comfortable. you can head over to the Hakuna Matata and change your clothes or whatever you need. And why don't we take a break right here? And when we come back, we will start the exploration. See you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.